Hello everyone, you're watching Inside the Americas. I'm Aurora Dupuis. Coming up in today's show, the US pays tribute to Kayla Mueller. The 26-year-old aid worker was kidnapped by jihadists in Syria, and the circumstances of her death remain unclear. The Queen of the Pacific is free. Mexico's most infamous female drug trafficker has been released from jail after 8 years behind bars. And the film 50 Shades of Grey is out this week. Hollywood hopes it will be as alluring as the book. Kayla Mueller represents what is best about America. The words of President Obama as he paid tribute to the young aid worker. Kayla was abducted in Syria by the Islamic State group 18 months ago. The Islamists say she was killed in an airstrike carried out by Jordan, but both Jordanian and US authorities deny the allegations, saying the extremists were, quote, no doubt responsible for her death.
I am in solidarity with the Syrian people.
This was Kayla Mueller in a video posted to social media in 2011 before she headed to Syria to continue her lifelong humanitarian work. After her death was confirmed on Tuesday, mourners gathered in her hometown of Prescott, Arizona, tearfully describing the 26-year-old aid worker as a crusader for peace.
She has done more in her incredible 26 years than many people could ever imagine doing in their lifetime. Kayla has touched the heart of the world. The world grieves with us. The world mourns with us.
They tried to silence her. They locked her up. They kept us silent out of fear. But now she's free.
Kayla's parents said they remained proud of their daughter's devotion to others, even as they came to terms with their loss. They released a letter written in captivity in early 2014, in which Kayla said she was unharmed and being treated with kindness and respect, but concerned about the toll on her loved ones. A year and a half after she was taken hostage, Kayla's death sent shockwaves across the country. In an interview on Tuesday, US President Barack Obama said he was heartbroken to hear the news.
She was an outstanding young woman and a great spirit. But I don't think it's accurate, Ben, to say that the United States government hasn't done everything that we could. We devoted enormous resources and always devote enormous resources to freeing captives or hostages.
Obama defended America's policy not to pay ransom for hostages, but vowed his government would find and bring to justice the terrorists responsible for Kayla's death.
Alabama has become the 37th US state to allow gay marriage, yet same-sex couples can only tie the knot in some parts of Alabama because some judges refuse to grant them marriage licenses. The US Supreme Court is expected to rule on the issue this summer, but in this conservative state, gay rights activists say the road to democracy will be tough. Kate Moody has the story.
We gather here today to celebrate the wedding of Dee and Laura.
This was one of Alabama's first same-sex weddings. Judges began issuing marriage licenses to gay couples on Monday after the state's ban was overturned.
I think that's one of the most fantastic things about it is that we got to play a role in history and making history today.
Don't lose faith it will happen for those states that have not yet been able to have this equality. It will happen.
Yeah.
In the heart of the Deep South, Alabama remains one of America's most traditionally conservative states. A majority of voters there still oppose same-sex marriage, and many religious and socially conservative organizations protested as the weddings began. Last month, the federal judge struck down the state's ban on gay marriage, finding that it violated the U.S. Constitution. But not all judges have followed that ruling, urged on by the state's Supreme Court Chief Justice, long an outspoken critic of same-sex unions.
It's an aberration of our institution in Alabama. It violated Alabama law. I don't like to say anybody shouldn't be happy, but nobody's stopping them from living together. It's about the institution of marriage. And when that institution is destroyed, it's the basic building block of our society.
Public opinion surveys show a growing majority of Americans now support same-sex marriage, although large parts of the country, notably southern and rural areas where evangelical values prevail, remain staunchly opposed. Including Alabama, 37 states and the District of Columbia now allow gay marriage. The debate will move to the national stage this spring, with the country's Supreme Court due to issue what could be a historic ruling in June.
Violent clashes, blocked roads and closed businesses in Haiti. Protesters are demanding lower gas prices. They want a 50% cut, saying they can no longer cope with the high costs of living. This comes as Haiti is ravaged by months of economic and political crises. The former prime minister was forced to resign in December. Parliament was dissolved and government opponents are calling for the president's resignation. It was one of the greatest mysteries in Chile. More than 5 decades ago, a plane went missing. 24 people were on board, including famous Chilean soccer players. Rescue teams spent weeks trying to locate the plane, but it's never been found until now. A group of trekkers have discovered the wreckage while walking in a remote area in the Andes. She's dubbed the Queen of the Pacific. Sandra Avila Beltran is Mexico's most infamous female drug trafficker. She was thrown behind bars 8 years ago, accused of money laundering and drug smuggling. But a judge has now accepted her appeal. He agreed to release her, saying she had previously served time for the same crime.
With her face covered, sitting on the passenger seat, Mexico's most famous female drug trafficker leaves prison. Sandra Avila Beltran is better known as the Queen of the Pacific. She was born in 1960 in Tijuana, a northern Mexican city notorious for organized crime and a high murder rate. Her uncle, Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, was a well-known Mexican drug smuggler in the 1980s. Nicknamed El Padrino, or Godfather in the trade, he's serving a 40-year sentence. Like much of the family, Sandra Avila Beltran followed in her uncle's footsteps, carving out a place for herself in the male-dominated underworld of organized crime. With one drug lord husband, 2 others corrupt police officers, 14 known bank accounts, 225 villas and apartments, her lifestyle has inspired pop songs, books, a telenovela soap opera, and even a Hollywood film. Arrested in Mexico City in 2007, she was jailed in both Mexico and the US for helping to bring together Mexican and Colombian drug cartels with her boyfriend, Colombia's Juan Diego Espinosa, nicknamed El Tigre. He was arrested on the same day and is still behind bars. While she admits to knowing drug traffickers, she's always denied smuggling herself, insisting she made her fortune through real estate deals and working in fashion.
If you're a fan of Jon Stewart, you'll be sad to hear that the comedian is soon bowing out. The host of Comedy Central's The Daily Show says he will step down later this year. He didn't give any details about what he will do next, but that he was looking forward to finally having dinner with his family on a school night. Jon Stewart has been presenting the satirical show since 1999. And finally, 50 Shades of Grey has aroused the attention of millions of readers, and Hollywood is determined to attract just as many viewers. The film is out this week in cinemas across the world, so if you're curious to see what's in it, our very own Josh Vardy gives us a sneaky peek.
The book and its sequels kicked off a globe-straddling phenomenon. Now the film looks set to have a similar success. 50 Shades of Grey tells the story of a young woman seduced by a rich man with sadomasochistic tendencies.
My tastes are very singular. You wouldn't understand.
Enlighten me then.
After attending early screenings in the US, some of the story's millions of fans said they were less sufficiently pleasured.
Incredible, the acting, the chemistry.
I think the way they portrayed the relationship between the 2 of them was just perfect.
However, some critics say the erotic thriller falls a bit flat.
These are 2 attractive actors. They're saying their lines well. It's reasonably well made, and yet it's astonishingly tepid and kind of uninteresting. I kind of like the first 45 minutes when they're still talking and negotiating, and once he sort of shows her his pleasure dungeon, things go a little downhill from there.
Parodies of the film's trailer have been widely shared over social networks. Its raunchy subject matter apparently ripe for satire. The 50 Shades trilogy of books received its fair share of criticism when they were published. Some dubbed it mummy porn for some of its bondage by numbers content and carpool characters, and its position of providing titillation for the masses. But the numbers can't be argued with. The books have been translated into 50 languages and to date have sold around 100 million copies worldwide.
And that wraps up this edition. Don't forget that you can watch this show and many others on our website, france24.com, in English, in French and in Arabic. Thanks for watching France 24. Do stay tuned.